Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something that most people never stop to consider. What if the first hour of your day holds the power to change your entire life? What if the strength you're searching for physically, mentally, emotionally isn't found in the hustle of the afternoon or the chaos of the evening, but in the stillness, silence, and structure of your morning? We live in a world that celebrates the grind, the late nights, the endless hustle. But the real power, the power that transforms average into exceptional, the power that builds unshakable discipline, confidence, and focus starts the moment your eyes open. Before the world starts calling your name, before your phone lights up, before the pressure kicks in, there is a moment that belongs only to you. Most people waste it. They hit snooze, they check their phones, they dive into life already behind, already overwhelmed. But the few, the wise, the disciplined, the hungry, they rise. They take command. They use the morning to prepare, to sharpen, to build themselves before the world has a chance to break them. This isn't just about waking up early. It's about rising with purpose. It's about creating a routine that feeds your mind, fuels your body, and strengthens your soul. Because when you win the morning, you don't just have a good day, you build a great life. So today, I'm going to break down why morning makes you strong, not just temporarily, but permanently. And by the end of this message, you'll never look at the sunrise the same way again. Let's begin the hidden power of the morning. Let's get something straight. Morning isn't just the beginning of your day. It's the battlefield where your strength is forged. Most people see it as just another routine, just another alarm clock, just another cup of coffee before the chaos begins. But those who understand the power of the morning treat it like sacred time. Why? Because the early hours hold the key to personal transformation. When you wake up before the world, something magical happens. There's silence. There's stillness. There's clarity. It's a moment where everything feels possible. You're not answering to texts, emails, noise, or pressure. You're not reacting, you're choosing. You are in control. That control is the foundation of your strength. The people who get ahead in life don't wait for the right time to act. They create the right time. And that time is early morning. The reason morning builds strength is simple. It's the first test of the day. Will you rise or will you retreat into comfort? Will you snooze your potential or will you step into it? Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you sharpen your character. You begin to condition your mind to say, I do what needs to be done, no matter how I feel. That mindset creates winners. That mindset creates leaders. That mindset makes you unshakable. The morning is also when your brain is at its sharpest. Science shows that your cognitive function, creativity, and willpower are at their peak in the early hours. This is the time to visualize your goals, write down your mission, move your body, feed your soul, and declare your identity. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing what matters before the world pulls at you from every direction. And here's the truth. How you start your day is how you live your life. If you start in chaos, your life feels chaotic. But if you start with clarity, purpose, and power, everything changes. You begin to walk taller. You begin to speak with confidence. You begin to expect more from yourself. The morning is the edge you've been looking for. It's not a punishment. It's a privilege. It's not about being busy. It's about being intentional. If you want to get stronger, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then the first thing you need to master is your morning. So stop wasting it. Stop sleeping on your potential. Wake up with fire. Wake up with purpose. Because morning isn't just a time on the clock. It's the foundation of your greatness. Discipline is born before dawn. Discipline isn't something you wake up with. It's something you wake up for. And it's in the early hours before the sun rises when your discipline is truly tested. That's where it's built. That's where it becomes a part of you. Not in moments of inspiration, but in moments of decision. Discipline is born before dawn. Let's be real. Your bed is warm. Sleep is tempting. Excuses feel reasonable in the early morning. But this is the exact moment that separates average from elite. Ordinary people listen to their feelings. Extraordinary people listen to their future. That difference? It's everything. When you get up early, Not because you have to, but because you choose to. You send a message to your subconscious. I am in control of my life. Every time you ignore the snooze button and put your feet on the ground, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. Not the weak version who gives in, but the warrior who shows up. And here's the truth. Discipline is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And there's no better time to exercise it than first thing in the morning. When you wake up early and follow through, whether it's a workout, meditation, journaling, or focused work, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with responsibility, with goals, with greatness. Most people wait for motivation, but strong people build structure. They understand that feelings are fleeting, but habits are permanent. And morning routines, built through discipline, are what carry you on the days when motivation dies. Discipline also builds confidence. Think about it. When you keep promises to yourself, especially when it's hard, you begin to believe in your own power. You don't just talk about goals, you live them. You don't just dream of success, you build it. One early morning at a time. And discipline doesn't end when the morning is over. No, it begins there. That decision to rise early sets the tone for every choice that follows. You'll eat better. You'll speak with more intention. You'll take action when others hesitate. Why? Because you already proved to yourself that you can win the hardest battle, the one between your mind and your comfort. Ask yourself, how badly do you want the life you claim to want? Because if you're not willing to win your mornings, you're not serious about winning your life. Discipline isn't about being harsh, it's about being honest. Honest enough to say, I want more and I'll do what it takes to get it. So tomorrow morning, when it feels still dark and your bed feels safe, remember this. Comfort never made anyone strong. But discipline builds warriors. It builds leaders. It builds you. Morning silence, mental power. There's a special kind of strength that doesn't come from weights or workouts. It comes from stillness, from silence, from the rare moments when the world hasn't yet demanded your attention. And the most powerful silence you'll ever find is in the early morning hours. Morning silence is a gift, a doorway to mental clarity, focus, and deep reflection. It's when your mind is freshest, before distractions, noise, and responsibilities pull you in 100 different directions. And it's in that quiet space that you can hear your own thoughts, your own dreams, your own truths. We live in a world that never stops talking. Notifications buzz, demands pile up, opinions scream for attention. But in the early morning, before all of that begins, you get a window of peace. You get to choose what thoughts fill your mind. You get to decide how your day starts. Not the news, not social media, not stress. You. And in that decision lies your mental power. When you spend your mornings in silence, even if it's just for a few minutes, you activate something within you. You center yourself. You connect with your vision. You allow space for gratitude, for strategy, for self-talk that empowers rather than weakens you. This is how strong minds are shaped, not in the chaos, but in the calm. Great leaders, thinkers, and creators throughout history have known the value of the morning quiet. They understood that strength begins inside the mind. Before you conquer the outside world, you must conquer your inner world. And that starts with intentional silence. Use it to breathe deeply, to journal your thoughts, to visualize the life you want, to pray, to plan, to pause. This silence isn't empty, it's full of potential. It's where creativity is born. It's where problems are solved. It's where you can realign with your purpose before stepping into the day's battles. The truth is, most people never take this opportunity. They wake up reacting, rushing, checking their phones. Their minds are hijacked before the day even starts, but not you. You have a choice. You can wake up and sit in that silence with intention. You can use it to build yourself mentally before the noise takes over. And the more you make this a habit, the more your mind sharpens. You become more aware, more focused, more present. Your thoughts become weapons, tools you use to direct your actions. not distractions that sabotage your potential. Remember this, a quiet morning leads to a powerful day. It's in the silence that you become the most dangerous. Not loud, not chaotic, but calm, grounded, and unshakable. Because true power isn't about noise. It's about control. So protect your mornings, guard your silence, and let that stillness be the furnace that forges your unbreakable mind. Building confidence with morning wins. Confidence is not a mystery. It's not something you're born with or without. It's not a talent reserved for a lucky few. Confidence is built brick by brick, moment by moment, habit by habit. And one of the most powerful places to build that confidence is in your morning routine. Think about it. The first thing you do when you wake up either puts you in control or puts life in control of you. If your first action is to check your phone, scroll through social media, or snooze the alarm 3 times, you're starting your day with passivity. You're telling your mind, I'll wait for the world to lead me. But when you start your morning with intention, when you get up, take action, follow your routine, and make progress, you begin your day with a victory. That's what we call a morning win. And here's the secret. Morning wins create momentum. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself in the early hours, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. You reinforce the belief that you're disciplined, capable, and worthy of success. That's what confidence really is. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Confidence doesn't come from hype or positive affirmations alone. It comes from action. When you rise early and knock out a workout, write in your journal, meditate, study, or just show up with focus, you're stacking proof that you're committed, that you have your own back, that you are a person of follow-through. And that feeling, it bleeds into the rest of your day. You start walking taller, speaking with conviction, facing challenges with a calm inner power. Why? Because your morning reminded you of who you are. It reminded you that you showed up when it was hard, that you pushed through resistance and claimed your first win before most people even opened their eyes. Confidence built this way, it's not loud or arrogant. It's solid, grounded. You don't need to prove anything to anyone because you've already proven everything to yourself. That's the type of confidence that can be faked and it can be shaken. And it's not about perfection. You don't need a 2-hour elaborate routine to build this kind of confidence. It could be as simple as getting out of bed on time, making your bed, drinking water, reading 5 pages, going for a walk. The point isn't how much you do. The point is that you follow through every single morning. Start stacking those small wins one by one, day by day. And before you know it, you will feel it, that shift, that belief, that voice in your head saying, I've got this. Because confidence isn't given, it's earned. And the most powerful way to earn it is by winning your mornings. Morning habits shape destiny. Success doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. And that choice begins every morning. What you repeatedly do in the early hours of your day doesn't just shape how your day goes. It shapes your character, your mindset, and ultimately your destiny. We are the product of our habits, not our dreams, not our intentions, our habits. And morning is the most powerful time to create the habits that define who you become. Why? Because in the morning, your willpower is strongest, your mind is clearest, and your distractions are few. It's the clean slate before the noise, before the pressure, before the outside world has a chance to pull you off course. Morning habits are a declaration of who you want to be. When you rise early and commit to a simple, powerful routine, whether it's exercise, journaling, gratitude, prayer, reading, or goal setting, you are training your mind to say, this is who I am. And when you do it consistently, day after day, that identity becomes real. You stop wishing for success and start living like someone who expects it. If you don't need a long, complicated checklist, what you need is consistency. The power is not in doing everything, it's in doing the right things again and again. For example, when you wake up and work out, even if it's just for 15 minutes, you're sending your body and your brain a message. I take care of myself. I prioritize my health. That single habit can impact your energy, your mood, your confidence, and even your decision making for the rest of the day. When you read in the morning, you're feeding your mind with growth. When you write or reflect, you are strengthening your self-awareness. When you pray or meditate, you're grounding your spirit. These small practices may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they change you. Think of your morning as the soil and your habits as seeds. Each act of discipline, each small win, each mindful ritual you plant, it grows. Not overnight, but surely and steadily. And eventually it blossoms into something unshakable, a life you're proud of. People often ask, what's the secret to success? The truth is, it's hidden in your habits. And those habits are hidden in your mornings. Because the way you spend the first hour of your day determines how you handle the next 23. So take back your mornings. Make them intentional. Make them sacred. Choose habits that serve your future, not your comfort. Over time, those habits will become your identity. That identity will become your routine. And that routine, it will build your destiny. Remember, the small things you do every morning may feel like nothing now, but in time, they will become everything. That's the power of habit. That's the power of the morning. Morning struggles build inner strength. Let's talk about something real. Not every morning will feel magical. Some mornings you'll wake up tired, unmotivated, frustrated, or overwhelmed. You will feel the weight of life, the pressure of your problems, or the temptation to give up and crawl back under the covers. And that's exactly why mornings are so powerful, because it's in the struggle that strength is born. When you force yourself to rise even when you don't feel like it, when you push through the fog of fatigue or the noise of self-doubt, you are not just waking up your body, you are waking up your spirit. Every tough morning is a test. And when you pass that test, even in the smallest way, you build a deeper kind of strength, not physical, but mental, emotional, and spiritual. It's easy to be disciplined when you're inspired, but true strength comes from those days when you aren't, from those moments when no one's watching, when it's just you and your inner voice, and you choose to rise anyway. That choice rewires your mind. It teaches you resilience. It shows you that you can do hard things. And the more you do it, the less you fear challenges in other areas of your life. Why? Because your mornings have already trained you to overcome resistance. Your mornings have already taught you how to lead yourself through discomfort. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait to feel good to take action. You take action, and that's what makes you feel powerful. And here's something else. How you handle the struggle in the morning is a reflection of how you'll handle the struggle in life. If you quit on yourself the moment things get hard, that pattern will repeat everywhere. But if you rise, if you fight, if you conquer that inner battle in the first hour of your day, you begin to believe in your ability to conquer anything. That's why morning struggles are a gift in disguise. They build grit, they teach perseverance, they force you to rely not on motivation, but on commitment. And it's that commitment that turns ordinary people into warriors. So the next time you wake up and feel like quitting, remember this. You're not alone. Every champion has fought that same fight. Every strong person you admire has faced that same voice of doubt in the early hours. The difference is they didn't listen to it. They moved anyway. They rose anyway. And that's why they become unbreakable. Your morning struggle is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're in training to become stronger, sharper, and more unstoppable than ever before. So don't fear the struggle. Embrace it, face it, win it, because every time you do, you're not just starting your day, you're building your future. Morning clarity leads to better decisions. In the early hours of the day, before the emails, the noise, the expectations, there is a rare kind of silence, a calm, a stillness that is often lost once the world wakes up. And in that silence lies your most powerful weapon, clarity. Clarity is the foundation of good decision making. It helps you see through the fog, separate what matters from what doesn't, and act from a place of purpose, not panic. And there is no better time to access that clarity than in the morning. When you rise early, before the demands of the day come crashing in, your mind is clear of clutter. You haven't yet been pulled in 10 different directions. You're not rushing to respond to messages, meet deadlines, or please everyone around you. In that moment, you have something most people never give themselves: space to think. This is when your mind is most connected to your vision, your goals, your values. It's when you can reflect, assess, and plan with intention. When you use your mornings to review your goals, write down your priorities, or simply sit in silence and breathe, you begin to notice something incredible. Your life becomes more focused. You stop reacting to the day and start designing it. You make better choices because you're no longer operating from stress or distraction. You're grounded. You know what matters. You know where you're headed. That clarity allows you to say no to the wrong things and yes to the things that move you forward. It gives you the power to respond instead of react. And it's not just about big decisions. Morning clarity impacts every area of your life, your relationships, your health, your business, your mindset. You start noticing patterns you used to miss. You catch yourself before falling into old habits. You begin leading your life instead of chasing it. The reason most people make poor decisions is because they're rushing. They wake up already overwhelmed. They react to whatever's in front of them. They live their entire day from a place of urgency instead of clarity. And over time, that creates chaos, confusion, and burnout. But not you. You're learning to lead yourself from the inside out. You're starting your day not with anxiety, but with awareness. You're using the morning to listen to your inner voice before the outside world drowns it out. That's where your power lies. Because when your mind is clear, your decisions are sharp. When your thoughts are ordered, your actions are bold. And when your direction is strong, your results speak for themselves. So guard your mornings. Use them to get centered, get focused, and get aligned with your higher self. Because in a world full of noise, the person who moves with clarity wins. Conquer the morning, conquer your life. If there's one truth you need to burn into your heart, it's this: how you handle your mornings determines how you handle your life. The morning is not just a time of day. It's a philosophy, a training ground, a launch pad. It's where the winners separate themselves from the weak. It's where dreams begin to move from imagination to manifestation. Look around at the most successful people in any field: business, fitness, leadership, art. They don't stumble into greatness by accident. They design their lives. And it all starts with mastering the morning. Because when you conquer your morning, everything else starts falling into place. You gain clarity, you take control, you stop reacting and start leading. Most people roll out of bed already behind. They wake up to stress, chaos, distraction. They hit snooze not just on their alarm, but on their potential. They begin the day in defeat and then wonder why they feel stuck, unfocused, or overwhelmed. But it doesn't have to be your story. You have the power to flip the script, to rise with purpose, to use your mornings to shape your mindset, fuel your energy, and set the tone for the rest of the day. When you wake up early and own those first precious moments, you are sending a message to the universe and to yourself. I am not here to be average. I am here to lead. I am here to win. This is not about perfection. It's not about being robotic. It's about intentional living, about creating space before the noise begins, about stepping into your identity as someone who takes life seriously, someone who shows up, someone who doesn't wait for life to hand them opportunity, but creates opportunity through preparation, clarity, and action. The morning gives you a moment of silence before the storm. Use it. Use it to speak life into yourself. Use it to align your actions with your goals. Use it to strengthen your body, your mind, and your spirit. Because when you do, you won't just survive the day, you will dominate. You'll walk into rooms with presence. You'll approach challenges with clarity. You'll navigate setbacks with strength. Why? Because you already won when it mattered most, in the beginning. You'll never underestimate the power of your morning. It is your foundation, your armor, your advantage. Let others sleep on their potential, but not you. You rise, you build, you lead. Because every great day begins with a great morning, and every great life is simply the accumulation of those days, stacked with intention, filled with purpose, and lived by someone who decided that mornings matter. Remember, you don't need to control everything. You just need to control your morning. If you can do that, you can do anything. Conquer the morning and you'll conquer your life. We've talked about the silence, the discipline, the habits, the small wins, and even the struggle. And now, as we reach the end of this journey, let me remind you of the most important truth of all. Morning is not just a time, it's a decision. It's a decision to rise before the rest, to lead instead of follow, to create instead of consume. It's the choice to take control of your life, one sunrise at a time, because no matter how chaotic life gets, no matter what storms you face, the morning will always meet you with a blank page, and what you write on that page is entirely up to you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do everything right. You just need to be willing to show up for yourself when it's hardest, willing to rise when you feel like staying down, willing to start even when the finish line feels far away. And that's the true strength of the morning. It doesn't hand you strength, it builds it, slowly, silently, steadily. The world may never see the early hours you spend alone working on yourself. The world may never applaud the discipline, the sacrifice, the self-control. But that's okay. Because you don't do it for them. You do it for the person you become. You do it to become the type of person who refuses to settle. You do it to prove, first to yourself and then to the world, that you are in charge of your mind, your choices, and your future. So from this day forward, protect your mornings like sacred ground. Build rituals that elevate you. Speak words that empower you. Move with purpose even when no one's watching. Let every sunrise be your personal signal to rise higher, to level up, to sharpen your edge, to recommit to your mission. Because here's the truth. You can't control the outcomes of every day, but you can control how you start them. And when you win the morning consistently, you train yourself to win in life consistently. So let this be your challenge. Not for a day, not for a week, but for life. Wake up with intention. Move with clarity, speak with conviction, live with purpose. And when the world asks what your secret is, smile quietly, because they'll never understand the power of what you've built before the sun even rose. Final words. Your strength begins in the shadows before the light. Your greatness is forged in the quiet before the noise. And your destiny, it begins in the morning. Now rise, it's your time.